Good timing. Sorry, that was good timing. The bridge tried to slow you down.
Yeah, a little bit. This is for gods.
Thank you.
Some mornings, everything tries to slow me down.
I'm familiar with that issue. You today.
Okay. And
It's
you?
better than bad.
Yes. You're okay?
Actually, I'm pretty good. Not enough
Good.
sleep, but other than that.
Yeah.
I had one of those nights when I went to sleep, had 2 hours of good sleep, and then for some reason I was wide awake for a while.
Yeah. I had a, that's what I call a bad night also. Usually I sleep straight through, but I was thrashing last night. It's like my pajamas got attached to the sheets and
Yeah, oh God. What an awful thought. Oh, well. Uh, there it is. I still have not been able to figure out what happens to the camera on my computer here. It comes and goes.
Yeah.
It must be, I presume it's related to Microsoft updates. I don't really.
I don't use Microsoft anymore and I don't know anything about Zoom except logging on.
Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning. Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Good morning. I had trouble with this whole setup this morning. So I had to reboot my computer. I just want to make sure it was going okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
good.
what?
Good.
Oh, so
Good.
Bill already knows this, but I need to make sure you know that there will be no class for the next 2 weeks
Okay.
because of doctor appointments that I can't do anything about.
Okay. No problem.
So, give you a lot of time to practice.
Yes. That is true.
Um, so, and then that class when we return, which will be April 2nd, I think.
Okay.
It's the first Tuesday in April. That'll be the beginning of a new session then,
Okay.
but it's not till April, so don't rush to worry about it.
Okay.
So, I might also warn you, I'm waiting for a call from a doctor's office. And so I unfortunately have my phone on today. If you hear it.
Okay. Also, I'm noticing here that I'm getting a lot of stopping and starting in my video, much more. It's much worse than it is usually. So I don't know if you're seeing that on your end as well, but my connection isn't particularly good this morning.
Yep, and your voice all suddenly goes gravelly and
Yeah.
all those good things.
Yeah, well, we'll just do the best we can.
Right. That's all we can do, no matter what's going on. So, questions in reference to either our standing work or the form? Particularly in light of the fact that you're not going to see me for a couple of weeks. Although you can always email me or call me and I'll be delighted to answer questions or
Right.
whatever. But anything at the moment?
I actually planned on doing this anyways, but would you mind if we did a standing meditation together and you talked us through it again as a bit of the points we want to keep focusing on for the next 3 weeks of practice?
Sure. So one of the things I've said, I try to review last week's video before class. And I will say one thing that I wanted to mention to you, because I think I had mentioned it to Bill, but I noticed that you two were having some difficulty with allowing your hands to drift into the middle when you're doing the transitions. And we're really trying to bring the
Right.
energy up and down through the side channels. So keeping the hands and the elbows when you can align with the side channels as you do that will
Right.
will improve that process.
Good reminder for me. I kind of let that slip since the last class. I think that's a good reminder.
Yep. Okay. So let's do it. Stepping out into Wuji Bu. Just letting yourself land in that spot. Feel that the width of your stance is appropriate. And feel the release from the quad down through the legs, the ankles, the feet, into the earth. Let your legs relax as much as possible without collapse. Be aware of the body opening up. Midriff open. Not tense, but open. Space in the armpits. Jade pillow gate open. Head lifting to the heavens. And focus on the downward flow of your energy, so that the energy that your body cannot use can drop into the earth. And twisting outward And letting the weight subtly move towards your heels can help that process. Just feel the energy dropping through your body. Coming back to center and extending your mind through your body. But really endeavoring to feel all the parts inside your body. Your mind sink through. Aware of your breathing, feeling the whole torso involved in the breath. As you flow into the 8 gates, the arms twisting in, weight towards the toe, twisting out towards the heel. Bending very slightly in, extending out. Lengthening in, release in, and lengthening out. Letting it go out. Twisting in towards the toes, twisting out towards the heel. Bending the spine, extending the spine. Find that midpoint. Bend your bow and shoot the arrow of your cheek. Twisting out. You go up to heart. Keep the hands aligned with the sideline. Feel your elbows subtly rotating in and out. And your scapula moving with them in and out. Twisting and bending and lengthening in, twisting, extending, lengthening out. do this transition, come into the sideline, not the center. Extend out. Bend the spine, tuck the pelvis and extend the crane's neck. Back into the sideline and out. Towards the toe, towards the heel. Twisting slowly in to cross the wrists and make that connection. And twisting out to the sideline. Drop the elbows. Let the shoulders relax. Questions? There's a lot of talking, but
Well, my comment is that all of your talking was extremely helpful, which is why I asked you to do this. There was at least 4 or 5 different points where you said something, and I needed to hear that. Like tucking when I'm trying to focus on the C curve, trying to tuck my pelvis under. A few other things that, the scapula, things like that. So that was very helpful, and it'll be good to follow that for the next few weeks. So thanks.
No questions. At a point where we can be aware of 3 or 4 or 5 things simultaneously without deliberately working on them, just being aware of it. That basically energy in the arms, the legs, the pull off. Good. Overtime again. Overtime again. Right? In the progress of form, I don't get the middle done yet. But it's a step in the right direction for me. I think
yeah.
I mean, not be working on my legs and working on my arms, but just being aware that it's there.
Great.
So,
Crown of the head.
I've been really trying to focus on that, so that's coming a bit. don't know why that is, but, yeah. Um, the third eye, easily more detectable than the byway.
Hmm. Okay. Um, Sometimes what can help that is not focusing on byway, but focusing on a point that is, it's like a couple of finger widths behind that.
Okay,
Because what it does is that when you're at byway, sometimes that causes us to tend to lift the chin. And if you go to a point slightly back, all of a sudden your lift is through the neck and the chin is allowed to release. So sometimes that can be helpful.
okay, I'll bear that in mind.
Yeah. Good. So, we're coming to the most difficult part of the form. For me, probably as well as you. I will admit, it was easier when I was 70. But so we had gone up to the blade chop to the left side. That's kind of where we gotten to. So either of you have a question up to that point at the moment?
Nothing new from me.
Okay. So you can both flow, but I'm only going to watch one at a time. So who wants to be watched first?
Doesn't matter.
Bill
I'm
says
gonna
he'll
flow
do
twice. It's up to Bill.
it. Well, sort of.
When you do watch me, remember at one point I'm gonna be shifting towards the end so that you can see me and my hands.
Yeah, I know. That's fine.
My work at PG on balance has allowed me to keep my feet closer together without feeling like I'm falling over.
Great. Oh, good.
Because I was never, I always wanted a wider stance for a stable base,
Mhm.
and, they won't let me do that. So, get your feet together.
Well, I'm glad that's being helpful.
And oddly, my way of balancing from this point, it used to be bowing my knees outward,
Mm,
and they're telling me, it's the other way. For the balance, at least.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the form, but,
right.
it's involved in my sense of myself. So.
Uh-huh. Stop you for a moment. You can go back. I'd like you to go back. Really think about what we were talking about in the eight gates, keeping the hands on the sideline. You have a tendency to want to come into the center
Okay,
and, and yes, in God's, we have a deliberate connection into the central channel
yeah,
and spine, and so that's really appropriate in 5 and 6. But here we really want to, we're really working on getting that energy to move all the way through the body, not around the center. We're not concerned with the microcosmic orbit at the moment.
yeah.
So
So are you saying, for instance, that after the to the left, I'm coming in too much
Mhm.
here
yep,
and at every point?
almost, yeah,
Okay.
almost every. That's
Okay.
why I stopped you, because
Okay.
it was a lot. And I realized I
Yeah.
hadn't really said that to you.
Always, yeah. I guess it's a trick of the eyes when I watch you, it feels like they're coming in. And I've always done that, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'll stop.
Well, if I've misled you there, I
No,
apologize, but
I say it's in my eyes and what I see, and um, that goes for I saw all of the movements going this way, rather than in God's,
Mhm.
um, until you pointed it out, okay, to
Yep.
farther front, yeah. So it's the same kind of thing at play,
It's subtle,
yeah.
not real obvious. No, while it still to some degree came and went, much more sense of whole body movement today. That was a real improvement.
Okay.
I don't know whether you had a sense of that or not.
Yes, I mean, I know it's been coming,
You have much less independent movement of the arms, for instance. Noticeably so. That was really good. That was-
yeah, I think I mean, it's even related to what I said about, the 8 gates feeling things simultaneously.
Mhm.
Just a sense of the wholeness that's
Yeah.
going on,
Yeah.
so.
When you go into shoulder, don't shift too far forward. Because ideally, there's
Yeah.
still a very subtle continuing forward in White Goose.
Okay,
You were in shoulder, you were already past your dynamic limit, so.
okay.
Um, in wave hands. Notice that at this point, my hands are on the sideline of the body. And yes, here they have both come to the center of my body, but not past it. And then here they come back to the sidelines. And yes, here they go to center as they expand, but then they come back to the sidelines. That,
Minor drifting in,
yeah. And occasionally getting stuck. And I understand that's one of the really hard things here is that you want these movements to be
continuous, yeah.
continuously. Okay.
Maybe I should try it fast like that.
Well, if they may give you some sense of
Yeah.
that. The cakes and subdue tiger, believe me, I understand the difficulty there. And I think my thought is just accept that you're not perfect there. And slow down a bit.
Okay,
So that when you come out of high pat, you want to get all that rotation and expansion. So here you're coming in, out. There's a real, you can feel it, and you want to connect to the middle dantian and the lower dantian. That's one kind of like this. So you want to let them because you've gone out at this point, you haven't gone in. That's the end of that is out. Okay. And then understandably, the kicks are somewhat difficult, but you need the rotation again here. So you're twisting in and then twisting out. So that expansion, while it's subtle, needs to be there.
yeah, that was really messy in there.
Well,
I mean, whatever point it was, I realized that I was out of sequence, yeah.
yeah.
So,
So I'm just taking your time and saying, yeah, my kicks aren't perfect, but that's okay. I'll do the best I can with the kick and then I'll get that movement.
Okay,
Yeah, good.
thank you.
Yeah. Nothing to it. You can flow again if you want, or you can just watch.
So David,
Me-
related to what we're just talking about with wave hands and its
Yeah,
relation to our side channels. When we are at on either side, when we are at our farthest point, do our hands ever actually go on top of each other, or are they always at
yes.
least a little bit askew?
No, they do. They expand out, and they are on top of each other, uh, at the fullest extension. Fullest opening.
Are you at the fullest opening, they are on top of each other?
Yes,
So that would be right on the center line then, right?
absolutely.
And then they go back to more being on the side channels and rotating, and then at the furthest point, again, semi.
Yep.
Yeah, I can empathize with what I think you're asking, because I've been trying to stay away from my center line. And it's.
Right,
you know,
right. In my mind right now, the center line is, we don't want to cross it, so I don't even know if we want to actually go to it. That's my
Oh,
question.
no, you can go to it. That's not
Yeah.
that's not a problem.
Right, and obviously, in order to get things into a top and bottom position on either side, we have to be at the center line so as not
Yep.
to cross it with either one. So
Right.
that was my question.
Yeah.
All right.
And also to be really aware that um, the circle and the size to the left where you're making the step is bigger and moves further. You turn further to the side than you do going to the right.
Okay.
They're not equal. And that's intentionally so, because when you do this form in reverse, you then balance and do everything in the other direction.
Right. Okay.
So nothing.
All right. Okay. And my other question, which you can answer after I flow, I'm still don't feel like I'm at the point where we do the push down and the chop. I don't feel like I'm getting any kind of real curve in there. So maybe see what I'm doing wrong. We talked about it last time, but I still am not quite getting it as far as where it should be. So kind of keep an eye on that when I do that. Maybe you can see what I'm doing wrong.
I'll do my best. It's
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
subtle.
Right. I think that's why I'm missing it, because I'm not where that subtlety is.
Yeah,
It should be coming from.
it's I think one of the things to think about there is that you have twisted in, and then as you're going down, all of this is going out. So there is
All right.
there is a sense of going this direction. It's not a big forward movement, it's
Right.
mostly down, but it has that curve of the movement,
Okay.
and it's a very slight curve. You just want to avoid it being boom.
Okay.
Or both.
Yeah, for whatever reason, after last week's class, I took it with me that the curve was not out, and I'm exaggerating, obviously, not that it was out, but that it was side to side as we were doing it. So
Oh,
I think that's
no.
why I was confused. Yeah,
No,
that's what
that's what
my confusion has been.
actually what I was saying last week was that it was not side to side.
Yes, I missed that somehow.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
all right. Okay.
Are both the hands moving all the time in that I feel like my right hand
There is
must pause up
Mm.
at top.
it's the left one that pauses. The right one is constantly moving
Okay.
because, so this is thinking about,
David,
what?
he's. Oh, okay.
He's all-
I thought
He's
you
all
were
right.
starting.
So what I'm, boy, probably should have enlarged this, but I'm not going to for a moment. So
That's a good view. That's a good view.
as you come up to here, you have twisted in everything, you work out, and then everything comes in. And here, the right foot, David, notice that the palm is rotating and twisting out. The fist continues down. So the fist never stops.
Right.
But this hand, so ideally here, from a martial standpoint, this is pushing him down and holding as you chop.
Right. Okay.
So did that clarify that
Yes.
a bit?
Now, if I can actually do it, but that clarified it. Yes.
See you. Okay. So, one thing I would say is that, um, in wave hands, not, to keep the ball at the same height all the way around. You're going down and
Okay.
up and down, tending to go down and up. Um,
Huh,
it can stay
okay,
at
I didn't even realize that.
the same level. Um,
Yeah, and I didn't realize I wasn't even keeping it at the same level, so that's good to know.
yeah. Um,
Hmm.
and when you go into, subdued tiger, what did I feel? Um, actually, it's, all the way through, I'm feeling that you need to work on allowing yourself to bend and stretch, twist, um, everywhere a little bit more at this point.
Yeah,
You, it feels like very often your hands sort of get stuck in
right,
one position. Um, the overall movement in most cases is pretty good. Um,
right,
better than pretty good. It's quite good. Um, but what I'm feeling is missing is that sense of bending and twisting and extending, and um, that
yeah,
um, that you want to be going all the way from the fingertips to the spine. It's not it, but getting
right,
the hands is one part of it, but um, it's got to work through the whole body.
right.
Um,
Yeah, I'm only doing that sporadically now. I mean, I'm focusing on trying to do it without thinking about it, but right now it's still something I need to obviously focus on more,
yeah,
especially with my fingers. That's been a long time problem, is I just kind of freeze them in that position.
yep. Um, when you come up from that pushing down to the side and up, you don't have to come so
Right.
high.
Okay.
Um, your opponent is coming in at about chest height, so no,
Right.
not up
Okay.
here. Uh,
He's not 7 feet tall, in other words.
right, you got it.
All
At least I don't believe so.
I hope not, anyways.
So, that transition, um, doesn't need to be so high, so that it is
Hmm.
coming up, you're quite right, and in, but not so high. Um,
How did the part after that, David, where I did try to put the curve into it? Could you see how that looked? Were you able to see that?
I think so. It looked
I
okay.
tried to actually exaggerate the curve a little bit and do it bigger than we probably should, just to make sure that you and I could both see it,
Yeah,
see if it was proper or not.
one of the things to realize is that part of that curve is in the twisting.
Oh, true. Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Yep.
we're inclined when we say curve, we're inclined to think that we always have to have a circle out there.
Right.
It can be very, very small. It doesn't
Hmm.
have to be huge. Um,
Yeah.
just present.
Okay.
So it's coming. Um, questions?
Nothing else right now? No.
Oh, good. Great. So After we've done that chop, so after we've come to that chop with the blade, we're going to go into Peng and Ji. And so we have to twist in and turn and step and do normal Peng and Ji at that point. And then we're going to go into that kick and subdue tiger. So again, you have to twist and bend in and come onto that left foot. And as you go forward into that left foot, you can let that right arm be, that left continues to come in, but the right actually extends a bit so that it's ready for the kick, which should be somewhat of a sweep the lotus. So there's a little curve to it, and then you set it back so that you can sink into offering incense. Now, I can't do this the way I used to, unfortunately, but you are still twisting in partway through this and then twisting out, and it's very subtle. So you have a twisting in and a twisting out as you do that. And you're coming to the completion position is with the middle finger touching that energy point on the wrist. So it's it's a little weird because you're twisting in and twisting in and twisting in and twisting out, and the twisting out is very small, but it needs to be present is the thing there. And then of course you have as you're going back into that right foot, you're beginning to twist in and still twisting in as you step back. And then as you rotate forward into subdued tiger, that expands the arm. So this is a little bit of an extension out, a twisting out, a lengthening out. And then you're going to do the same thing on the other side. You step back, you're twisting and bending in, and then as you reverse, as you turn that circle, because you turn to the right and then left to complete, and that expands into that. If we can get that far. So before we go on, any questions in there?
My video was sort of very sketchy. Can you do the part right after the chop with the chop part? So the first part of this, could you just go over that again up to the point of offering incense?
Sure. So chop.
Yeah.
And then you're coming back, stepping, Peng, Ji, back. You're shifting onto that left and letting that right arm move into position. It's not extending particularly, but it is,
Right.
as you're going in there, it's still a sense of bending in, of twisting in. And then that sweep the lotus kick or whatever you can do there and step behind. You're still twisting in and then twisting out just at the end of that movement.
Okay. So when you do Pong and that bit there, that's in the same direction as the chop when you first come around, right?
Yes, it is. Straight to the
All right.
side.
I was trying to determine, I thought so. I was just trying to reaffirm that as well.
Sure.
Okay.
You have questions? Who would like to try this?
I'll give it a go.
Okay. Let me get you back here.
Okay.
Uh, um, those the stance in gargoyles
Yeah.
is not 1 foot behind the other. It's in effect a bow stance, but rear weighted.
Uh-huh. Okay. I'll give it another go.
Yeah, better.
I don't feel like my hand movement is quite right in gargoyles.
No, it's not difficult, but it is um, I'm gonna I'm gonna stay close here for a moment. So
Yep.
when you have completed um, offering incense, notice that there's a little turn to the right as you go back. So you can keep that circle going as you step with the left and keep rotating onto the left, and you're still twisting in at this point. And then as you begin to twist right and continue to shift back, that's when the fists complete and go slightly forward. And
Okay.
the movement, then you turned right to complete that movement. You continue to turn right to step back and twist in, and then twist left to complete. And with each of those, you're releasing that forward foot to turn on the heel so that you end up in a rear weighted bow stance, with the forward foot pointing straight ahead.
Okay. Yeah. I have felt like on each of the two gargoyles, like my lower hand was not doing much. So
Yeah.
that was my main question, and I could see what it should be doing after looking at you,
Yeah,
which
they're
is
both
it's still
moving.
it's less than the other one, but it's still going through twisting in and twisting out. So
Yep.
all right.
Also, I was going to say when you do Pung and Jeek, because I could see it here perhaps better than I could at the beginning.
Yeah.
You want to get a clear rotation out of Pung, and then a twisting in and twisting out for Jeek.
Okay.
The twisting in, I don't think was there.
Yeah, no, it wasn't on that one. You're right. I usually do it properly at the beginning and in the other postures, but I did not put it in those. You're right. I
Yeah.
don't know why.
Okay.
Um,
As long as you're
but,
aware.
yeah.
Do you have other questions in there, Jeff?
Not at the moment.
Okay. Let's watch Bill.
Okay.
This is a tough section. I will. Start again.
Yeah.
And also with this movement, there's not this. As you come around into that, it's the body, and it's that thing of whatever the body does is what the arm does. It's not body moves, arm chops.
Like that?
It was better.
Okay.
Um, I feel like you're on the right track.
Yeah, that was ratty, but yeah.
No, but I felt like you knew what you wanted to be doing.
Yeah,
Um, I thought felt your incense was actually quite good.
Yeah, I was surprised. Yeah, at half the time I have balance problems getting back there, yeah.
I know, that's a tough one. I used
Yeah.
to be so easy with that, but
Yeah.
now it's tough. With the gargoyles. What, that's not what you want, David. And you're here. You want to keep all of this continuously moving. It doesn't stop for the step. I don't know if you were aware you were doing that,
Yeah,
but
I was aware,
Okay.
part of what was happening is that I never have gone to the right first to start the
yeah,
circle, so I was determined to get that in.
you did.
And everything else, sort of jiggled around.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it wasn't bad. It definitely felt like you were on the right track.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have other questions in there?
No, that's a matter of practice and adjusting what I had been doing.
Yeah.
Or not doing.
Seems to me that that ought to give you enough to work on. You'll both
when
have
you-
this perfect by the next time I see you.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
So when each gargoyle, are you 100% on the rear foot?
Oh, wait a minute. What have I done? Uh, Well, I have no idea how to get rid of this. Oh, there,
Use-
okay. There we go. Now, what was your question?
Quick question. When you complete each gargoyle, are you 100% on the rear foot?
Yes, very unusually so, yes. We don't very often do that. But yes, it should be 100% on the rear foot.
Okay. Because I wasn't quite sure, and I was also with the forward foot, I wasn't sure whether it stayed flat or whether it went up on its heel, but then I watched you and it looked like yours stayed flat.
I rotate on my heel, but then it reconnects flat, yes.
Right, okay. That was it.
Yep. Anything else?
And it's 100% for the left foot on that side. Okay. So both sides, yeah.
Both sides, yeah. Yeah. Okay, well, guys, hope you have a good couple of weeks. I'm sorry I won't be seeing you.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, well, good luck. Good luck with the appointments. I hope everything is good and
Well,
look forward to seeing you again.
they're not as far as I know, there are no problems. My electrophysiologist and my oncologist, but I don't have any particular problems at the moment. They're just difficult appointments to get within, except when they say I can.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Okay.
thank you. I
Right.
hope you have a good couple of weeks as well.
Yeah.
Thank you. Take
Okay.
care, Bill.
Yep.
Well, next time we see each other, it will be spring.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Might be, yeah, might be.
I'm not holding my breath though. Take care, Jeff.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
I'll see you tomorrow.